Hey everyone, so it is Monday the 22nd. It's day one of the reading rush, and right now it's about 1:10 in the afternoon. Um, I had a doctor's appointment this morning, and the doctor I see, the specialist I see, their office is about an hour away from my house. So I did get a good amount of reading done because I read some on the way to the doctor's office. I read the whole way back, and then I also read while I was at the doctor's office waiting to see the doctor. So I did get quite a bit through my first book that I started with. I started with The Name of the Star. So this is covering the challenge to read a book with 5 or more words in the title. So I've started The Name of the Star. I'm on page 147. So I'm 147 pages in. And this is a pretty short one. It's like 372 pages. So it's a pretty short one. And I just got home from my appointment. So I should be able to finish it today, no problem. I probably would have been a little bit further in the book, but I kind of fell asleep in the car on the way to the doctor's office. So I tend to fall asleep on long rides. So I'm actually glad I didn't fall asleep the whole way back, so I read the whole way back. But yeah, I probably would have gotten a little bit further if I didn't fall asleep. But I'll still finish this today. So right now I am actually going to be taking a bit of a break from reading. I am going to have lunch, and then I need to upload my writing update video. I usually get that out by Mondays. And then I will get back to finishing off The Name of the Star. So I will let you guys know when I finish this. I'll give you guys an update and let you know how everything goes. Hey guys, so I am terrible about vlogging my actual reading time, my actual reading experience. So most of my vlog clips are pretty much updates on the books I'm reading and what my thoughts are on each book as I read them and as I finish them. So I haven't really filmed any clips with me actually reading this week because I was more focused on trying to get through 7 books in 7 days. But since I haven't filmed much vlog clips, I figured what I would do in between my update clips would be to show you guys the video challenges and Instagram challenges that I want to do. I didn't do them throughout the week because, like I said, I was mainly focused on finishing 7 books. So I did a couple of the challenges throughout the week, but I didn't do all of them. So I'm going back and doing, I don't think I'll do every single one, but I'm going to do most of them and add those clips in between my updates. So I'm starting with day one's challenge, which is to draw your book characters. So this should be interesting because I suck at drawing. I am not an artist when it comes to drawing. I can barely do stick figures. So, and you're supposed to do this in 30 seconds. So we'll see what gets down in 30 seconds because I'm probably just going to have a head, just to be honest with you. Um, but we'll see. So for the day one challenge, you have to pick a book and flip to any random page, and the first character's name that you see on that page is the character that you are supposed to be drawing. The book that I picked for this was An Ember in the Ashes by Sabah Tahir. So I flipped to page 154, and the first name that I see a couple paragraphs down is Elias. So Elias is one of the main characters in the book, and we do get half of the story from his perspective. I've got my timer right here, if you can see, set to 30 seconds. Alright, so that was 30 seconds. That I don't know how anyone can draw a character in 30 seconds. Even for an artist, I feel like that's an impossible task. But here is my drawing of Elias. Like I said, you guys would pretty much just get his head, because that's about all I can do in 30 seconds, and I am not an artist. That is my Elias. So that was day one's video challenge. I don't think I'm going to do day one's Instagram challenge, only because I do not know how to, like, I have an idea of how to do the whole magical flying book picture. I saw a tutorial on YouTube, but I don't have Adobe Photoshop. I don't have the right tools to edit the photo, and I'm not even 100% sure I would know how to edit it. So I'm skipping day one's Instagram challenge, but you got the video challenge of my horrible drawing of Elias, so there's that. Hey guys, so it's 7:05 p.m. and I just now finished The Name of the Star by Maureen Johnson. So I'm going to talk about this a little bit, and then I'll tell you what I'm going to do next. So The Name of the Star, you guys have heard I've said that this is a Jack the Ripper retelling. So basically our main character, Rory, moves from Louisiana to London, England. She goes to a boarding school in London, and while she's at the boarding school, while she's in London, there's these murders that start happening that mimic Jack the Ripper. So this is present day. This isn't like Jack the Ripper time period. So we're in present day, and we have someone who is copycatting Jack the Ripper. And so Rory kind of falls into the midst of this mystery and investigation into trying to find out who this new killer is. So I really enjoyed this. I remember enjoying it the first time around. I really enjoyed it. I still enjoyed it this time. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Of course, I felt like the first time around I was more creeped out by this book. But maybe because I'm rereading it for the second time and I kind of know what's going to happen, even though I've forgotten some things. As I read it, I start remembering what's going to happen. And so I think maybe that's why it just lost some of the creepiness factor for me. Because I remember the first time around, especially the beginning open scene, I was like, okay, this is a very creepy vibe tone. But this time around, didn't really have that feeling. But like I said, I still really enjoyed it. I really like the characters here. Rory's roommate Jazza, and then Boo when she comes in later on. I really enjoyed them. I also liked how this was done. Like I said, this is a retelling of Jack the Ripper. So I feel like the twist in here and the way that Maureen tells the story and the whole reimagining, I really liked the way it was done, and I thought it was an interesting take on the story. So I'm interested to continue and see where the next book goes. I'm planning on, like I said, marathoning it. And then the way this ends, there's a little bit of a cliffhanger at the end. So I'm definitely excited to continue on with this series. So that's what I'm actually going to be doing next. So I'm going to be reading The Madness Underneath. That's the second book in the trilogy, and that will cover the challenge for read a book with purple on the cover. So yeah, I'm gonna do that, and it is 7:10 right now. So we'll see how far I can get into it tonight. I think that one, the second book, is actually a pretty short one. I think it's less than 300 pages. So if I'm lucky, I may end up finishing it tonight. If not, I'll finish it in the morning and then continue with the third book tomorrow. But hopefully, I'm hoping I can finish it tonight. I do also have the audiobook, so I'm going to be reading. I'm going to be listening to the audiobook while I eat dinner, because I'm going to eat dinner in a little bit, and I'll listen to the audiobook while I have dinner and hopefully get it done tonight before I go to bed. So yeah, I will update you guys again before I go to bed. See you guys. Hey guys, so I'm back. It is 11:20 p.m. and I am done with The Madness Underneath by Maureen Johnson. Like I said, this one was a quick one. It's less than 300 pages. And I listened to the audiobook for this one as well. So before dinner, I went out for a walk around my neighborhood. And so I listened to the audio as I walked around, and then came back, ate dinner, and continued with the audio, and then continued and finished it up just now. Um, so this is the second book in the Shades of London trilogy. So I'll kind of give you my thoughts, but I'm going to try to keep them vague and not say too much, because I don't want to give any spoilers for the first book. The first one was Name of the Story. So with The Madness Underneath, this one takes place a couple months after the events of what happened in The Name of the Star. Our main character, Rory, has gone through a lot of changes, and she's trying to adjust and transition. And that's really all I can say without giving much spoilers. My overall thoughts was this one was okay. I didn't love it as much as the first book. I liked the first one a lot better. This one I probably give a 3 out of 5 stars. We get some new characters introduced in this one, and it was interesting to see those characters. I can't really talk about my thoughts necessarily about those characters because it's kind of spoilery. But they were interesting characters, I will just say that. And then one thing I did appreciate about this book was that it did address the trauma that Rory goes through. Because you guys know the first book, The Name of the Star, we're dealing with a Jack the Ripper type killer here. So obviously, there's gonna be trauma that she's gonna be experiencing with that. So that's not really a spoiler. Um, but yeah, so in this one, we do see her go to therapy and kind of have to address some of these issues. So I appreciated that aspect because a lot of times, especially in like YA fantasy books, it kind of seems like characters will go through a trauma, but then it never gets addressed, and it's like everyone's fine and nothing's bothering them, and it's like you should have symptoms of PTSD from what you just went through and experienced. And sometimes with YA series, it's like, okay, how are these characters, how can they be so well adjusted, without working through that trauma that they've been through? So I did appreciate that they included that aspect in this book. I will say this one took me a while to get into. Um, the plot, I feel, just wasn't that strong or compelling as the first book. And again, I can't really say much about it without getting into spoilers, but it just wasn't as strong, I think, as the first one. Also, the twists that are revealed and the ending weren't surprising to me at all. So I don't know. I guess I kind of feel like the second book kind of falls into the middle book syndrome, where it's like it kind of feels like a filler book. So we'll see how the ending goes. We'll see how the third book wraps up. This one does leave off on a cliffhanger, so I'm definitely interested to see how things get wrapped up in the final book. So I will be starting that tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm going to try to read The Shadow Cabinet, which is the final book. And then I'm also, if I can, I also want to try to get to Teach Me to Forget. And that'll go for the challenge of um, read a book in the same spot the entire time. So I will be at my desk pretty much all day. I mean, I usually read most of my books at my desk anyway, so not a huge deal. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get through those two, Shadow Cabinet and Teach Me to Forget, if I can. So we'll see. I'm I feel like I'm off to a really great start. Started the reading rush by reading 2 books the first day. So hopefully I can keep that momentum going and read 2 more tomorrow. We shall see. So that's it for day 1. I will see you guys for day 2. Hey everyone, so it is day 2 of the reading rush, and I did not vlog at all today, so you're seeing this clip late at night It's 10:30 right now, 10:30 at night, and this is the first time I'm vlogging for tonight. I have read for today. I did finish one book today, The Shadow Cabinet by Maureen Johnson. This is the third book in the Shades of London. I thought was a trilogy, but come to find out there might be a fourth book. There's no title or release date that I can see right now for the fourth book, but there is a fourth one listed on Goodreads. And the way this one ends, it seems like it would be setting up for a fourth book. So, yeah, I guess I thought it was a trilogy. Guess not. But my thoughts on this book and the whole series overall. So this book picks up right where the second one leaves off. And in this one, I can't say much without spoiling anything, but I'll just say that this book takes a very different direction. It takes the series in a very different direction than where it started off in the first book. And because of that, I was pretty disappointed. I gave it 2.5 stars. It's not a bad book, it's just not what I was expecting or wanting. Um, the first book was very much a thriller. It had a really creepy vibe. It was a paranormal ghost story. And then this one we get into mythology, and it's just so different. And, not that that's a bad thing necessarily, but for me, it just didn't work. I love the first book. The second one I mentioned felt like a filler book, and then this third one went in such a completely different direction that I was just like, you lost me. I don't even think I will pick up the fourth book because I kind of lost interest. There's a lot of parts in this one where it's kind of like an info dump, and we're learning a lot more in this one, but we're always told all these different things, and it just slows down the pacing, I think, and just were a lot of parts that were just kind of boring. And I think this series kind of showcased why I've decided to start a new thing on my channel called Is It Worth It? Where after I read a series, I will kind of give you my thoughts and tell you if I think the series is worth the read or if you can maybe skip it. Because I feel like sometimes series start off great and then they just kind of go downhill after the first book. Which, for me, this is what this series did. The first book I loved, and then it kind of went downhill from there. And so for me, I would say no, this series, at least the series as a whole, is not worth the read. The first book is worth the read. I did enjoy it, but can pretty much stop after the first one. So yeah, those are just kind of my thoughts. And that was pretty much day 2 for me of the reading rush. Like I said, this was the only book I got through today. I was hoping to get through 2 books. I wanted to get through this one and Teach Me to Forget, but that didn't happen. So tomorrow, hopefully, I can get to Teach Me to Forget and Inspire. Both of those books are shorter books. We'll see how I do with the Reading Rush Day 3. So today's challenge was 2 truths and 1 big little lie. And so for this, I'm going to be showing you guys 3 books. 2 of them I read, 1 of them I did not. So you guys have to pick out which book am I lying about reading. So here we go. The first book that I read was The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. The second one is The Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. And the third book is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. So there you go. Those are the 3 books. So let me know in the comments below which book I have lied about reading. Hey guys, so it's day 3 of the reading rush, and right now it is 5 o'clock. I did read earlier. I haven't filmed today. I'm a bad vlogger. I don't film too much when I'm actually reading, but I did start reading 2 books earlier. So I've started Teach Me to Forget, which is the one I was reading for Read a Book in the Same Spot the entire time. And I started it at my desk, so I'm going to read it at my desk. I got about 50 pages in, but then I was going to be heading to the library because I got an email a few days ago saying that the book that I requested, Shadow and Flame, was available and on hold. So there was only a couple more days that the library would hold it before, they put it back, make it available to everyone again. So I definitely wanted to grab that because that was the one that had become available right before I was going to go on my trip, and then decided not to get it till after my trip. And then when I came back, there was a waiting list to get that one. So it just became available a few days ago, and I wanted to get it before my hold on it was up. So I went to the library today, and I brought with me Inspire. So that is for the challenge of read a book with the non-human main character, and the main character, Callie, is a muse. So I started that one on my way to the library, and I read a little bit at the library and then on my way home. So right now I'm about 95 pages into that one, and that one is another short one. It's a little over 300 pages. So what I'm going to do now, because I'm about to eat dinner, is probably listen to Inspire on audiobook. I do have the audiobook as well. So I'm going to continue listening on the audiobook while I have dinner, and then I'll probably, since, it's a pretty short one as well, I'll probably finish up with Inspire before I go back to my desk and finish Teach Me to Forget. So that's where I'm at with these 2 so far. I'll give you another bit of an update a little later on when I finish one of them. Alright, so see you guys in a bit. Okay, so right now it's 6:55, almost 7, and I'm almost done with Inspire. I've been listening to the audiobook. I listened while I ate dinner, and I'm continuing with the audiobook while I read the book. And I'm at page 218. So I've got 100 pages left of this. So I'm definitely going to finish it pretty soon. But I wanted to take a minute and stop and kind of give you guys my predictions on how this is going to end up. So with Inspired, we have Callie, who is a muse, and she is fallen for this guy named Wilder, and she can't help the attraction she feels towards him. And even though everything in her is telling her she needs to stay away, she can't do this, she ends up in a relationship with them anyway. And she's kind of afraid though, because, you know, too much of her, like, since she's a muse, she inspires people, but if she's around them too much, they go mad and crazy, obsessed. And she's worried about that happening to Wilder. She doesn't want to do that to him. My prediction, sort of, for this, because they talk about the Greek gods and goddesses and muses and all of that in here. And I think Wilder is going to somehow end up being something mythological. I don't know what exactly, but I don't think he is fully human, but I don't think he knows it yet. And so that's like the only way I can see their relationship possibly working out without him getting obsessed and like driven crazy by her influence. That's the only thing I can possibly see happening, is if he was some sort of mythical, I don't know, demigod or something, which I think is possible, because we did find out there's another character in here that I'm not going to say who, because I don't want to kind of spoil anything, but we do see another character in here who, okay, so this is kind of a minor spoil. So if you don't want any sort of spoilers at all, just pause it for the next like 10 seconds. But just be when it's a minor spoiler. We find out a character in here is an oracle, but she doesn't know it. So I'm thinking the same thing is possible for Wilder. I'm thinking maybe he could be some type of, I don't know, mythical something that we don't know about. And maybe that's why he is not going to go crazy and the relationship might actually work out. So that's just kind of my thoughts, my prediction. Because this is a romance fantasy, so the plot is basically romance. And so I don't think I could be wrong. Who knows? Don't quote me on this. But I don't think they'll give us sad, tragic ending unless they're like Shakespeare or something. I don't know. But I want to say this is probably going to have. Actually, I don't know what kind of ending this is going to have. So I just realized this is, I think this is a duology. So I at first thought this was a standalone book, and then I realized on Goodreads it's not a standalone, and I think it's a duology. So I'm going to have to find the second book just so I can see what happens. Because I feel like she's going to end up with them, and it's going to be okay. At least that's the vibe I'm getting. Like, I feel like somehow the relationship is going to work out, but I don't know how yet, which is why I'm thinking he might be something mythical that we don't know about yet. So, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts, my predictions. So I'm gonna go finish the rest of this and see if I'm anywhere close to what I'm thinking, although I don't know if I'll find out unless I read the second book. So we'll see. Okay, so I'm back and I'm done with Inspired by Cora Carmack. And I will say I was wrong with my prediction that I made earlier. What I thought might happen did not happen. But I like the twist that happened at the end. I like what the author did there instead. It was really interesting. And the one thing I'll say is just when this really starts getting interesting, it ends. I was like, the last chapter is like the best chapter, and it gets super interesting, and then we're done. So I definitely want to get the second book and continue and see what happens next, especially because I feel like the way the last chapter of this sets up, the second book, there's going to be kind of a shift in tone, I guess maybe you would say. Because this one, the first book, is this is a romance fantasy, which means there's fantasy elements woven in, but it's mainly focused on the romance, the relationship between these two characters. Whereas the ending, the way it sets up, it feels like the second book is going to be focused more on the fantasy aspect, and we're going to get more of an adventure with that one, and it's going to be a little bit less of the romance and more focused on the fantasy and the adventure, which is my favorite part, so I'm definitely here for that. As far as the romance go, I'll say the only thing that really intrigued me with this romance was how they would work out the relationship between Callie and Wilder, considering how dangerous she is to him. So I was intrigued by how they would work around the danger to him. If it wasn't for that aspect, I don't think I'd be interested in the romance or their relationship at all. Because one thing, I feel like their relationship was too much revolved around sex. And I get that she's a muse, and so she inspires passion, and maybe you can say that's why things progress so quickly, and there was a lot of sexualized scenes. It's because of that, but I would have liked to seen more, deeper, intimate moments between Callie and Wilder that didn't involve sex. There were maybe one or two, intimate moments where they're connecting and getting to know each other, and not being physically intimate. But I felt like there could have been more of that in here. And I think maybe the author tries to do that, but I don't think it worked out that well. But overall, it was okay. The ending, like I said, is the best part. And the ending is what's really making me want to go find the second book on Amazon. So those are pretty much my thoughts on Inspire. So now I'm about to go pick up where I left off on Teach Me to Forget. So I'm going to be going back to my desk because that's where I started to read that book. So that's where I need to finish it. And yeah, we'll see. It's 9:05 right now. So we'll see if I can finish it tonight, or at least get through most of it and maybe finish it in the morning. So we'll see. I will update you guys tonight before I go to bed. Okay, guys, so it is right about midnight, so I'm calling it a night for now, and I'm going to bed. I made it I got to page 231 in Teach Me to Forget, so I'm going to finish it in the morning. I have a little over 50 pages left of it. I have a lot of thoughts about this one so far, but I'm going to save it till the end after I finish it, and I will talk to you guys about it tomorrow. And then tomorrow, I'm not entirely sure which book I'm going to do next. I've only got 2 left on my TBR, so it'll either be An Ember in the Ashes or 12 Years a Slave. So, not quite sure yet which one I'll start with, but we'll get to that tomorrow. For now, I am calling it a night, and I will see you guys in the morning. Bye. Hey guys, so today I'm doing day 4's Reading Rush video challenge, and the video challenge for day 4 is to show us your reading space or your reading nook, wherever you like to read. So I guess that's what I'm going to do. My reading space is not that interesting. It's not that nice looking or whatever. It's pretty simple. I read in 2 main places, which I'll show you. But I'm usually either at my desk or outside on my front porch. So I'll kind of show you that. So here we go. So this is my desk area. I've got a couple bins on my desk, as you can see. So my laptop, that's pretty much my entire desk. I have the pink bin is full of books that I'm either currently reading or I'm about to read soon. So that's what I usually keep in the pink bin. And then the brown one is just like notebooks and journals and planners that I have. So try to keep them fairly close by where I can reach them easily. And then my iPad, my glasses case. So that's pretty much my desk. So this spot right here, this little empty spot, but this is normally where I will typically read. And my desk is facing the window, so you can see out the window. My front porch is out there, which will go out there in a minute, because that is another spot that I like to read, is just outside on my front porch. So this is my front porch. Like I said, there's really nothing to look at, nothing to see, but that's my front porch. This is where I come outside to sit down and read sometimes. So I'm usually sitting right about here and facing out towards the front yard. You can see front yard, got a big old tree in the yard, grass, some rocks. So that's pretty much the front of my house. Hey everyone, so welcome to day 5 of the Read and Rush. It's Friday. So I did not film at all yesterday. I actually had my brother and my niece and nephew come over yesterday, so kind of spent the whole day with them. I did a little bit of reading in the evening, but not too much. I started An Ember in the Ashes last night, and I read about 32 pages of that. But other than that, I really didn't read much at all yesterday. I have been reading most of today. I did have another doctor appointment in the morning, so I read like during breakfast and then on my way there and back and stuff like that. So I did do quite a bit of reading today so far, and I'm up to like I think almost 200 pages into An Ember in the Ashes, which is pretty good. So I'm almost about halfway there. This one is the longest book on my TBR this week. This one is like, I think, 446 pages, I think. So almost about halfway through. And I'm hoping to finish it hopefully tonight. I did finish today. I went back to my desk, my reading spot at my desk, and I did finish Teach Me to Forget by Erica Chapman. So this was the one I was going to read in the same spot, and I finished it at my desk. I almost disqualified myself for this book, which I'm glad I did not, but I forgot this was the book that I said I was going to do for the challenge of reading it in the same spot. And so yesterday, when I went to pick this up to read, I was actually going to go sit out on my front porch and read. And then I realized, wait, if I do that, I can't take this one because I won't be in the same spot. So that's kind of why I started An Ember in the Ashes last night, and got through about 32 pages of it. So, yeah, so I picked this back up today while I was at my desk, and I finished it this afternoon. And this book, this is about a girl named Ellery who one day tries to commit suicide, but things go wrong. The gun that she tries to use doesn't work, and she doesn't end up committing suicide that day, but she's still very much suicidal. She has a lot of guilt about what happened to her little sister. Um, Her little sister passed away. She blames herself for her sister's death. And so that's pretty much why she wants to commit suicide to, get rid of the pain and guilt. So my thoughts with this one. First off, the writing is pretty easy to get into. I do like the writing style. It's very easy, and you can fly right through this, especially since it is a shorter book. It's less than 300 pages, so you can pretty much fly right through this. And I do like the characters in here. I really loved Ellery's best friend Jackson. I liked Coulter. I liked Janie. There were some characters that I didn't like at all. Ellery, so this is told from a first person, from Ellery's perspective. I did like Ellery's character, but at times she kind of annoyed me, mainly because all she could really think about was herself and how things affected her, and not really see anyone else's perspective, even when it's the same thing, the same situation. So she has this friend named Dean who also is depressed and wanting to commit suicide as well. And she pretty much talks about how, like, she doesn't want to lose him, she doesn't want him to end his life, she can't imagine a world without him. And she says the same thing about Coulter. And so, like, there are people in her life that she's like, she doesn't want to lose them, she doesn't want anything to happen to them. But yet, when when Coulter tries to tell her the same thing, he doesn't want to lose her, like, she's a big part of his life, It's almost as if it goes in one ear and out the other. It's almost like, how can she be upset about, possibly losing her friend Dean and, him wanting to commit suicide, and she doesn't want to lose him. She doesn't want him to commit suicide. And yet, when her friends tell her, when Coulter tells her the exact same thing, it's like she doesn't get it, and all she can see is, you don't, all she can say is like, you don't get it, you don't get my pain, it's my fault, I can't deal with this, I have to, get, it's the only way to stop the pain. I'm just like, I get that she's grieving, and I get that she's going through a lot of guilt and shame, but at the same time, I'm just like, you realize the position you're in with Dean is the same position you're putting your friends Coulter and Jackson and everyone else in if you were to commit suicide. And yet you can't see that. Like, and all you can think about is escaping. I don't know. That was the one thing that bugged me a little bit with her character. With Coulter's character, I did like him, but the one thing that did bug me with him, and this goes back to some of the tropes that are in here. There's a lot of cliche tropes in here, and Coulter, his character is very much the, you know, I want to, I'm trying to play the hero, play the savior, like, I need to save this girl's life. And it's like, dude, you can't save her. You can't save her, you can't love her into being better or love her into not wanting to commit suicide. Like, the best thing you can do is to tell someone and get help for her. And that's the thing that kind of annoyed me with them, was that rather than just being like, no, I need to tell someone, I need to get her help, whether she hates me for this or not, at least she'll be alive. But instead, he's like trying to talk to her, get her to let him in, and thinking, if he is just there for her and she's able to talk to him and he loves her, then he's able to help her or save her or whatever. So very much the boy saves girl trope trying to go on here. And I didn't like that at all, because I'm like, you cannot save her. She's got way bigger issues, and you just loving her is not going to solve them. Like, she has people in her life that love her and care about her. Her mom loves her and cares about her. Her best friend Jackson loves her and cares about her. She's even made another friend, Janie, who, is trying to get to know her and be her friend. Like, she's got people in her life that care about her and love her. So I don't see why he thinks him being there for her and loving her is going to change anything. As if it was me, I don't care how angry you get. I will tell you to your face, we're getting you help right now. Like, there's no way. If I know that I have a friend who is suicidal, who has a plan or has even tried before and failed and is still feeling suicidal, there's no way I'm gonna be like, well, okay, let's just talk about this and let me in. Like, no, I'm gonna be like, we're calling your parents, we're getting a doctor, we're getting you help. Like, I don't care. You can scream, holler, hate me all you want, at least you'll be alive. I will say this book, unfortunately, is not a good example for teens who may be struggling with suicidal thoughts, or who have a friend that they know is struggling with suicidal thoughts. This is probably not the best book for teens like that. Only because, like I said, I feel like most of the plot hinges on, culture trying to save Ellery when really there's so much that should have been done differently. I will say the ending, while it is predictable, it's probably this book's saving grace. Because if it didn't end the way that it did, then it probably would have been sending a really terrible message out there. I will say another good point to this book is I do like that we get to see how Ellery starts to get some more hope back in her life. Even though she tries to fight against it, and she's like, no, I have a plan. I'm sticking to my plan. This is what I'm going to do. I'm still going through with it. But we can see little changes start to happen in her life. And we see moments where she kind of struggles with, maybe she shouldn't do this. Maybe she shouldn't commit suicide. So I like seeing those moments where we do get to see she has some hope, even if she doesn't fully recognize it herself. So that's pretty much it. Those are my thoughts for Teach Me to Fake It. I did give this, I was kind of hovering between 2.5 and 3 stars. I put 3 stars on Goodreads just because, it doesn't do half stars, but this was right around there for me. Alright, so it's 6 o'clock now, so I am going to try to see if I can read some more and hopefully maybe get through An Ember in the Ashes tonight. So we'll see. Hey guys, so for this video challenge, this is day 5's video challenge, which is Book Art to Life. In this challenge, we have to bring a book, bring it to life using whatever creative expression that we want. That could be through drawing, painting, it can even be through makeup or fashion. And so I am going to try to bring a book to life with the makeup. The book that I'm going to be bringing to life today is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabah Tahir. So there's a lot of gold in here. There's gold lettering and things. So, and there's a little bit of like whitish, grayish down here. So I'm gonna try to bring this to life using those colors in my makeup palette. So I'm gonna start off with putting on some powder foundation. I've got the Bare Minerals powder foundation. So next I've got this little white eyeshadow, which I'm going to kind of use as a highlight. And like I said, for the book, it's got the, white grayish area down here. So using the white eyeshadow for that part of the book. And for this, I just use my fingers. Okay, so now we're going to get to the gold parts. And this is the makeup palette that I'm using. As you can see, it's mostly browns and gold and neutrals. So that's the makeup palette that I'm using for this. So I try to come over by the window where there's more light, where you might see it better. But there you go. There is the gold eyeshadow. So that is my inspired look for an Ember in the Ashes. I don't have any lip colors that will match, but there you go. There's the eyeshadow. Hope you can see it. And I'm also wearing a gold top as well, yellow top. I'm counting it as gold. But a yellow outfit to match, to kind of go with the gold from the book cover title. So yeah, that's pretty much my whole book to book art to life inspired look. Gold top, gold outfit, gold eyeshadow. And that's pretty much it for this video challenge. I will see you guys in the next clip. Hey guys, so it's Saturday, it's day 6 of the reading rush, and I did finish An Ember in the Ashes late last night. I didn't bother filming after I finished, but I'll talk about it today. And this is a reread for me, so I did want to reread this first book before going into the second and continuing with the series. Because I read the first book a few years ago, and there was a lot I had forgotten. But I do know when I read the first book, I loved it, and I wanted to continue with the series. So I did reread this for the Reader Rush, and of course, I loved it again. This is told in dual perspective with Elias and Laya's point of view. And they both live in the Empire, and one day Laya's brother is arrested and her grandparents were killed. Her brother was taken to prison, and she basically has no one else. So she's trying to find a way to get her brother out. So she ends up going to this rebel group, and of course they tell her that they'll help her get her brother out if she agrees to spy for them, enter the academy, and find out what she can and just be a spy for them. So she agrees because she really wants to have their help to get her brother out. Meanwhile, Elias is in the academy. He's, I guess, a type of soldier or something, and he's training for these upcoming trials, but he really doesn't like being a part of the academy or the empire. He doesn't like what they stand for. He doesn't agree with what they do, and he really just wants to leave and escape. He's thinking of deserting, and there's a lot of internal stuff going on for Elias. I think I originally gave this 4.5 stars, and pretty much I'd still rate it the same now. I really love the characters. I like that we kind of get to see some of Laya's fears and her fears with going into the academy and being a spy, and like she doesn't start off as this brave heroine type person. She starts off very fearful, very scared, and all she wants to do is find a way to get her brother back. And yeah, I love her. I like how her character development went. So I can't wait to see more of that in the upcoming books. So yeah, I really like Leia's character. I really like Elias's characters, and also some of the side characters in here. I thought they were great. Also, the world building. I really liked reading about the world in here. It was interesting. It's not a world I would ever want to live in, but it was interesting reading about it and seeing how it was. Um, I also say the writing style. I like the writing style. It's easy to get into. Overall, it was a really good start to a new series. So for today, I'm going to try to get through 12 Years a Slave. It's a short book. It's like a little over 200 pages. So I'm going to read that today, and I'm going to watch the movie adaptation. I did rent the movie from my library. And if I have time, hopefully, I can also finish Wondersmith, which is the second book in the Nevermore series. So I started that last week, but kind of put it on hold during the reading rush so I could get through some other books for the reading rush. But yeah, that is what I'm hoping to get through today. So I will see you guys in another clip and let you know how it goes. So now for day 6 video challenge, and this is book spine names. So you're supposed to spell out your name using the title of books, and here's the catch though, each book, all the books have to have the same color, spine color. So you spell out your name using book titles, and all the books have to have the same color spine. For this challenge, I kind of did 2 things. And the first one I'm going to show you, it's probably a little bit of a cheat, but I think I should get bonus points for this one. So the first one is Vanessa and Her Sister by Priya Parma. Kind of cheating with this one because my name is right there in the title. So spine color all green. So do I get bonus points for spelling out my whole name with the one book? I think I should. Like I said, that was a bit of a cheat, but I did get 7 books that spell out my name. And they're all black spine covers, because black is the easiest. And this challenge was supposed to be done in under 2 minutes. I didn't even bother timing myself, because I know like half of my books are still in boxes that I need to take out. And so I did not even bother timing myself, because I knew I would not make it in 2 minutes. So here are the actual books to spell out my name. So the first book I got was Vanish by Sophie Jordan. When it was sitting on my bookshelf, it looks pretty black, but now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, I'm not entirely sure if the spine is black. It might be like, I don't know, it kind of looks like a dark maroon, sort of, like the color of the title. I don't know. Even on camera, it kind of looks black. So I'm going with it being black. For A, I have Atlantia by Ali Condi. For N, I have The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. The top part is black, so we're counting it. Eclipse for E. Spellcaster by Claudia Gray for S. Since there are 2 S's in my name, I also have Steadfast, also by Claudia Gray, This is the second book in the Spellcaster series. And the last one is Shadow Bright and Burning by Jessica Clues. And yeah, that is for A. So those are the 7 books that make up my name. Hey guys, so it's still day 6 of the reading rush. It's 11:15 p.m. So I've been not quite reading all day. I didn't get around to reading until like I think around 6 this evening. But I did read most of this evening, and I'm working my way through 12 Years a Slave. I'm gonna try to finish that one tomorrow so that I can watch the movie tomorrow, and that will be my 7th book, and it'll complete the book and movie adaptation challenge. I'm about like 145 pages into the book. It's a hard book to get through and read. It's an important story. I think, Solomon's account of what he went through is an important story to be heard. But at the same time, the writing, I can't get into the writing style. And so it's really hard to get through, but I'm trying to push myself to finish it, especially since it is a shorter book. There's a lack of emotional description or detail. And so, like, the accounts of what's happening to him and the other slaves around him, like, while they are sad and tragic, I feel like they're not as emotionally gripping because of the fact that it is just stating what happened rather than really getting into the emotions. I think that's what's really missing. So I think those are probably the 2 biggest issues for me with this book. I do think it would be better in movie format, so I am really interested to see how the movie does. I know it's won some awards, and I've seen the trailer and it looks really good. So I do think it'll be more emotionally impactful as a movie, and I can't wait to see the movie. But just the book right now, having a hard time getting through, but I will finish it. But I also read a bit more of Wondersmith today. Got to around page 210 in Wondersmith, and then I actually started A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray, because I kind of wanted to see if I could get the 5-star read badge, and I was like, what book might be a 5-star? Like, what book can I predict might be a 5-star read for me that I can get through quickly by tomorrow night, by the end of the reading rush, so I can count it for the 5-star read badge. And so it was like, I love Libba Bray's Definer series, and I'm planning on reading her Jim Doyle series. And in fact, I had the first book on audio lent out to me from my library. So it's like, you know what? I'm gonna go with The Great and Terrible Beauty, because that might end up being my 5-star read. So hopefully, we'll see. I started it, I'm like 56 pages into it. I'm a little bit nervous about it because starting off, I did not really like the main character. She was very bratty and spoiled. But I'm hoping that it gets better. I do see she's making some changes, so hopefully it'll get much better. And it'll be a 5-star read. So we'll see. That's it for tonight, guys. I'm going to bed. I will see you guys tomorrow and update you tomorrow on how I do. Hey guys, welcome back. It is Sunday. It's day 7, the final day of the reading rush. So today I'm going to be trying to get through as much reading as I possibly can. Right now it's about 3:30. I have been reading so far today. Started reading after church today and read A Great and Terrible Beauty on my way home. And then I had lunch and I listened to the audio for A Great and Terrible Beauty while I ate lunch. So I'm about almost 250 pages in. So I've got about 150 pages left to go in A Great and Terrible Beauty. So I'm going to finish that. But first, I think right now I'm going to go back to 12 Years a Slave. I did take a break from that because, like I said last night, it was just really hard to push through that book. But I'm going to try and finish it today. I've got a little bit left of that book, so I'm going to push through to the end, and I'm going to watch the movie today as well, so it'll count for the book and movie adaptation badge. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to try to finish with A Great and Terrible Beauty. I'm pretty sure I can finish it today by midnight as well. So those are pretty much my goals. Those are what I'm going to try to do today. So yeah, I'll check back in with you guys in a little bit. Okay, so now it's time for the day 7 video challenge. And the challenge for today's video is just to share a book recommendation story. So I typically get my recommendations from BookTube. That's where I find out about a lot of my books. But I did recently read a series that was recommended to me by a friend of mine, and that's the Cricket series by Amy Bartol, I think. And I did a full series review for that series, so I'll leave it linked down below. But my friend, she absolutely loves the series and totally recommended it to me and was like, you gotta read it, you gotta read it. So I did. And one thing I will say about the series is it's super engaging, super fast-paced, and you fly through it. Like, I read all 3 books in 3 days. Like, I just read 1 book each day, and I couldn't put it down. And that was a series that it had been a long time since a book kept me up all night reading. And that series, I stayed up till I think like 4 in the morning just to finish it. The first book I really, really enjoyed. The second book was my absolute favorite. I loved it. And then we got to the 3rd book, and unfortunately for me, things went all downhill from there. I was super disappointed with the direction the 3rd book went in. I was really pissed about the way some things happened, and I was really angry about the 3rd book. I still love the first 2, and I wish I could just not have to read the third one. But it was one that brought me back to those days where I would stay up super late at night just to read and find out what's going to happen next. So that is my book recommendation story. Okay, so update time. I finally finished 12 Years a Slave by Solomon Northup. So, again, this was kind of hard for me to get through. I don't have the best luck with classics. And it's interesting because the challenge I picked out of my TBR jar for this month was to read a classic. So this fits that challenge perfectly. But I am not having the best luck with classics. I just have a really hard time getting into them. And so far this year, I've DNF'd the classic, I've pushed through and haven't liked any of the classics that I've read so far. I don't know. Me and classics are not to a good start. I was hoping this would be different because when I saw the movie trailer, it looked really interesting, and I was hoping this would be a really good one that I could really get into, but I just couldn't get into the writing. This is a memoir / autobiography, so it's told very differently, and that might also have to do with why it was kind of hard to get through. Like I said before, we don't have the emotional impact reading this. Like a lot of stuff that's in here, the events that happen are stated as fact, which they are fact, but like there isn't any of that emotional tug at your heart parts, which I think there will be in the movie. At least from the trailer, it seems like there will be, but I didn't get that with this book. I still think this is an important story and an important part of history, but I think I'll probably just connect with the movie better. I'm going to be watching the movie later on, so we'll see what I think about it after I watch it. Day 7's Instagram challenge is to recreate a book cover. So I'm gonna sort of cheat a little bit for this, but it's fine since I'm not entering the contest, the Instagram contest. I'm just doing this for the vlog. It's okay. I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna use covers that I've recreated in the past. So in the past, I've recreated, I think, like 3 book covers, and I'm going to insert pictures here for you guys to see, but I've recreated Cinder, The Book Thief, and Rebel Belle. So I will have those pictures up right now. Hey guys, so quick update. It is almost midnight on the last day of the reading rush. I have finished 7 books in 7 days, so I'm happy I accomplished that task. I did watch the movie adaptation to 12 Years a Slave. And like I thought, I did connect with the movie a lot better. I just felt more of that emotional connection come through with the characters in the film. And I really want to know what happened with Patsy. Now, I don't think it said in the book either, and we don't know in the movie either, but I want to know what happened with her now, because I really connected with her character, especially in the movie. And I did, especially the scene where Patsy's getting whipped. Oh my gosh, I couldn't even watch that scene. So yeah, it was definitely 10 times more emotionally impactful than I think the book was, for me at least. So that's it. I did not get to finish A Great and Terrible Beauty. I wanted to finish that today, before the end of the reading rush, but I did not get around to finishing it. So I'll just have to finish it tomorrow. I have about 140 pages left of Great and Terrible Beauty, so I'll finish that up tomorrow. But yeah, that's it. That's the end of the reading rush for me. It is midnight, so I'm going to bed now. See you guys.